Hello, guys. We're welcome once again to another Scratch project with Flourishfield Academy. And today we have another interesting project for us to build. And the title of today's project is Throw the Banana. And as you can see on my screen, we have a brief demo of the project. I'll be walking us through what the project is before we start building. So first, let's get started. Now, I'll test out the game by clicking on the green flag. And as you can see, we have a bird flying to and fro on our screen. If you look right behind a monkey here, we have a banana. And the job of the monkey would be to throw the banana in order to hit the bird with the banana and the bird drops. Now watch. Okay, let's try to make sure. Now once the banana hits the bird, it drops. And we can pick up another banana, throw it at the bird, and at some point the bird begins to fly a lot faster, as you can see now. The bird begins to move a whole lot faster, making it more difficult for you to hit it. As you can see, moving to and fro, the bird is slowly moving now. And again, it's faster now. All we have to do is pick up the banana using the monkey sprite and try to hit the bird with the banana. I hope we understand that. Now, let us get started with building our project. Let's go. Now, to get started, let us start from the easiest, or rather the easier part, which is setting up our backdrop. Now, I'm sure we all know that to select the backdrop in Scratch, we all only need to click on the choose a backdrop button. But let's see if we have suitable backdrops. I don't think I like any of the backdrops here. So instead, I'll be uploading my own backdrop. Now, I already have a background downloaded and would share that with you as well. Put a link to that in the comments. On if you don't mind, you can also use any backdrop you find in the Scratch platform. But for me, I would want to upload a backdrop. So I'll select the upload backdrop, this icon. I'll click on it to upload a backdrop. Now the name of the backdrop I want to upload is throw, and I'll select open. Now I have my background and it's looking more like what I want. So I'll just delete this. And now I can focus on my sprites. Now for this project, we'll need 3 sprites: the monkey, the banana, and the bird. So let's add all 3 sprites. So I'll delete this one. And first I'll add the monkey. I'll try to search for monkey. Here we go. Then I'll also add the banana. Here we go. And finally, I need to add the bird. Here we go. It's called parrot. Now we have all the 3 sprites that we need. But then we have to make sure that the sprites are of perfect size. So I'll reduce the size of my monkey sprite to say 70. 70. This is better. I'll also reduce the size of the bananas to maybe 70 as well. And that of the parrot should be, say, 50. Maybe 50 is too small. Let's make that 60. Now, we have the perfect sizes for our monkey, for our banana, and also for our bird. Now, let us get straight to the codes. And we're going to be starting with the codes for the monkey. Now, if we looked at our previous task, monkey was only able to move side by side, from left to right. He could not move up or down. He's only able to move from left to right. Now let's do that in Scratch as well, using the blocks of code. So firstly, I'll need to add the when green flag clicked to help us start our game. Now, when we do that, we need to pick a spot, a starting position for our monkey. So I'm going to just drag the monkey and try to see. Maybe try to be at the center. Okay, maybe somewhere here should be fine, or maybe not. Let's try to use a different coordinate, maybe 0 and say -1 1 0. Let's see where this gets. Wow, this is perfect. So I think this would be our starting point for the monkey. So to make sure that we don't lose out on this starting point, we'll go to the motion block and add the go to block. So when flag clicked, we'll immediately go to our starting position. Now we can go on with writing the codes for making sure that our monkey is able to move left or right. Now to do that, I'll need a forever loop so that our monkey will always be able to move left or right. Now, after that, I'll need my if-then blocks. In fact, I'll need 2 if-then blocks because I want to write codes for motion for both left and right. So I'll put both if-then blocks in my forever loop, and now I'll try to fill up the rest. Now, to fill up the rest, here's what we need to do. I'll go to my sensing, and I'll try to say if key press. Now, what key are we looking to click? Let's say the left arrow for it to move left. So if key left arrow pressed, and I'll do the same for the other if then. I'll say if key right arrow pressed. Now, if key left arrow pressed, we want to point towards the left-hand side and also move towards the left-hand side. So I'll search for point in direction. Now, I want to make sure it's pointing towards the left-hand side, so that should be -90. And I'll also need to move 10 steps. I'll do the same for the right arrow. Now this is pointing towards the right-hand side already, so I don't need to change that. But I'll also need to move 10 steps. Now let us test out our code to see what we've built. Now so far, let's move. Can you see? We're able to move left and right, but we have a slight challenge. Whenever we move towards the left-hand side, the monkey moves upside down, which is not exactly what we want. So let's quickly fix that before we move to the other parts. So to fix that, very much easy. All we need to do is look for the block of code in the motion category that says set rotation style left to right. Now this helps us make sure that no matter the direction, we maintain a specific or a set rotation style. So let's do that real quick. And again, let's test it out now. As you can see, it no longer moves upside down now. Now let's make it even fun by animating the monkey. Let's make it a little bit more fun. Now, to do that, let us take a look at costumes. Now, if you look at it, we have different costumes for the monkeys. We have different costumes for the monkey. And in order for us to animate, remember, animation is change of state from one look to another over a period of time. So for us to animate, we must make sure that we change the costumes for the monkey over a period of time. Now let's do that real quickly. To do that again, I add another when green flag clicked. I'll also need another forever loop. And because it's over a period of time, I'll need to add a wait 1 second block. And while I do that, I need to add the next costume. Now this helps me move from one costume to another over a period of 1 second. That is what we call animation. Now let's test it out to see. Now can you see the monkey is properly animated but a little too slow? So let's reduce the time. Instead of 1 second, we'll make that half of 1. 0.5. And let's test it out again. And as you can see, we're able to move left on right while the monkey is properly animated. Great job. Now let's move on to writing the codes for the bananas. Okay. Now, to write the codes for the bananas, we will have to click on the banana sprite first so that we can make sure that whatever code we write from here on will be that of the bananas. Now, again, for the bananas, we have to start with when flag clicked. So I'll just drag that in. And it says when green flag clicked. Let's do that properly. Okay. Now it says when green flag clicked, we want to do a few things. We want to point in direction 0, which means point downwards. Let's do that real quick. Now I want to point in direction 0. Exactly. Now I want to make sure the banana is facing upwards, upright. Okay, that's what we mean by pointing in direction 0. As you can see, 0 points upward. Now after that, we want to then make sure that we show the banana, because sometimes you may have written codes in other sprites that may have hidden your sprite. But because we want the banana to always be visible, we need the show block. And I'll just add that right here. After which, we can then move on to how the banana works. Remember, the banana is supposed to appear at random positions. Our monkey moves, picks up the banana, and is able to throw it. But first, let us write the codes for making the banana at least stick to the monkey first. To do that, I'll go to Control, and I'll need my forever loop. Now, inside of my forever loop, because I want the banana to always be with the monkey, except when I hit the space key to throw the banana. So here's how I'll do that. I'll say repeat until. Now, I'll say repeat until key space press, because I want to repeat holding the banana until I hit the space key. So I'll go to sensing and look for key space pressed. And what do I want to repeat? Holding the banana. So I'll say go to monkey. Go to monkey. Go to monkey. Now, if you test it out, you'd see that your banana always goes to your monkey. Great job. Now, let us continue with our code. Now, again, we need another repeat block. We need another repeat block. Now, I'll look for that. I think repeats here. And this time, we need to repeat 35. 35 times, and inside that, we add a move 10 steps. Now I'll put that right inside my forever, and this helps me able to move my banana as well. After which I can then hide. Where's my hide block? Now the hide has to be placed outside of your repeat blocks, but still inside of your forever. Now let's make sure that the banana is able to go to different random positions. To do that, now I'll need a conditional. If then else. Now put that again inside my if, my forever loop, and I'll go to operators this time. Now I'm looking for an equality operator. Here we go. I'll put it here. And I want to pick random 1 to 2. And I want to say if pick random 1 to 2 equals 1, then I want to go to a different position. Else, I want to go to a different one. Basically the same position, but in different polarity. One is negative, the other is positive. So I'm going to say pick random 1 to 2. And if that is equal to 1, then I want to go to a positive direction. I'll go to X. Where is that? Now I'll go to X to 1, 0, and Y negative 140. Now I know this because I've tested it out and I know exactly the position. And you can do the same by simply moving your sprites and taking note of the X and Y directions. Okay? Now again, if it is not equal to 1, which is if it's equal to 2, then you want to go to a negative direction. I'll just do that. Again, in my else statement, I'll say negative 210 and also negative 140. Negative 140. Now, after that, I can now show. Where's my show block? I have to look for that. You have to look for all the blocks in Scratch, except when you get properly used to it. Now, after showing the block, remember I have to wait until the monkey touches the banana. So I'll also look for wait until touching. Wait until touching. You can find that in, yeah. So wait until, I'll say wait until the banana is touching the monkey. So wait until touching monkey. There we go. Now if you test out your code again, you can see we're able to move with the banana. If the monkey moves, the banana also moves. If the monkey doesn't move, the banana doesn't move. I hope you understand that as well now. Now, we also need to still write a few more codes for our bird as well. And now, for the bird, let us create some variables. Now, we're going to need two variables, the points variable and the speed variable. The points variable would be to record the number of times we're able to hit the bird with the banana, and the speed variable to be able to change the speed. Remember at the beginning, we tested our project and we saw that the bird always flies at different speeds. So let us quickly create those variables. So I'll make a variable, I'll call this points. I'll hit OK. And I'll make another one, I'll call it speed. And just like we did for the monkey variable, let's create a flying animation as well for our bird sprite. To do that, the when green flag clicked, and just like we did earlier, I'll add the forever block, and the next costume, we gotta look for that, and we also have to wait a few seconds. maybe 0.5 or 0.4 seconds, maybe a little more. So let's test it out to see what it looks like firstly. Perfect. As you can see, the bird is already flying, but it's not really moving. It's just flapping its wings. So let's go over to the other parts of the code. We have to make the bird fly. We have to be able to record points and as well as changing the speed. To do that again, I'll need a when green flag clicked. I just need another one so that I can do that part of my code separately. So first, I want to make sure I set my points variable to 0 to stop recording my points from 0. And so that my bed wouldn't go upside down like we learned earlier with the monkey sprite, let us also add the set rotation style. I have to look carefully for that. Set rotation style, left to right. Now we can add our forever loop. Now, all the rest of our codes will be done inside of our forever loop because our bird has to constantly be flying, and we also have to constantly record the number of times we hit the bird. So let's get started. First, I want to go to random position, or rather not just a random position. I want to go to X, Y, but a random Y position, a random height for my bird. So I'll go to X, Y, let's see, I'll bring that in. And X would be a negative value of say 300, but my Y has to be a random value. Say a random value between, this is 44, say a random value between 0 to 100. So I'll pick random, 0 to 100. There we go. Now, after that, we also have to point in the proper direction. We have to point in the direction 90, pointing towards the right-hand side. So I'll make sure I point in direction 90 so that my bird will always be pointing in proper direction. And again, let us set our speed. Remember, speed is quite random. It's not a defined value for speed. So to do that, I'll go to set variable, but this time not my variable, but instead the speed variable. I want to set it to a random value from 1 to 10. Now we must make sure we show like we did earlier. Remember, we explained why we had to do that. Again, just like we did earlier, we have to repeat the flying motion of our bird until it touches the bananas. So again, we need a repeat block. Repeat until block. I have to look for that carefully. There we go. Now we have to repeat until it's touching the banana. Repeat until touching bananas. There we go. Now we want to move a few steps, but the amount of steps we want to move will be determined by the speed. So we want to move speed steps. We want to move a few steps, but determined by the speed. So we want to move speed steps, and we want to make sure that if it's on the edge, we go the other way. So if an edge, bounce. Now that helps us make sure that when we get to the edge, it goes the other way. I hope we understand that now. Now after that, then we can change the points variable by 1. Now remember, we have to change the points variable by 1, which means add 1 to the points variable. Okay, and then we have to point in the downward direction, which means we've hit the bird now, and we have to point downward. So let's point downwards and make sure we fall downwards. Okay, let me point downwards. I have to look for the block that says point in direction. Set that to 180. Okay, here we go. Point in direction, not 90, but instead 180. that is downwards. And now we have to make sure it moves down. Now we've pointed downwards, we have to make sure it moves downwards. And again, we have to repeat a few number of steps. This time 30 steps. We want to repeat it for 30 steps, and then we want to move 10 steps. Okay. Now this helps us make sure that after pointing downwards, it also falls downwards. And once it falls, we want to make sure we don't see it anymore. So we have to hide it. There we go. Now once again, let us test out our code. Here we go. Can you see? Now I'm able to record. I think there's something wrong with our code. Let's try to figure that out. It works perfectly, but I don't think our points are being recorded. Let's see. Let's make sure that we're able to see that. Okay. Okay, it works perfectly, but our points aren't being recorded. So let's try to fix that. Oh, and there we go. We change points. Again, let's test it out now and see. We should have a perfectly working code. Pick it up. Now we have a perfectly working code. Our points are perfectly recorded, and the speed also changes. Now, I hope we've been able to code along, and we had fun while doing that. And we'll see you guys once again in our next project.